Hello, I'm Ben Bars, CEO of We're Unity, and welcome to Catalyst Conversations. Today, I'm privileged to be joined by CEO Krispy Kreme, Andrew McGuigan. Welcome, Andrew.
Ben, welcome. How's things?
Good, thank you. How are things in Byron?
Well, it's quite nice up here. You know, the home office, you get a little bit more flexibility these days. So still glued to the desk, typing away and, using Zoom and all the sorts of conference call techniques these days to keep us connected. So not too bad.
Awesome, good spot to be. You got the kids up there?
Certainly do. It's helpful to get the grandparents around and get a little bit of help after 8 weeks lockdown. So it's been good.
Fantastic. So Andrew, look, I'm going to ask a series of questions, and I think everyone will be very interested to get a bit more insight into one of Australia's most loved brands. Start with a big question. What's your favourite donut?
Good question. You have to confess, this is one that proves CEOs don't always get what they want. It's the blueberry donut, the blueberry cake donut. We used to run that a couple of years ago. We need to bring it back to, on my birthday at least once a year, but it's certainly one of my favorites.
The blueberry cake donut. All right, awesome. I'm impartial to the Nutella myself. It's good stuff. Right, I'm glad we got that out of the way. So, how long have you been CEO?
So I got involved with Krispy Kreme as CEO in 2012, really to help the company, before I was a CEO, to help the transition to servicing a major partner such as 7-Eleven. So that was my foray back into the business, but to go right back to 2003, and I'll have to confess, I was on the promo team of the, back when I was a much younger young man working a night job from university, handing out donuts, getting the brand up and running in the country. So had a decent gap in between, but it drew me back.
That's awesome. Okay. So things have evolved since uni days, obviously. And now, look, I know a lot of people are interested to understand a bit more behind the brand. And from a cultural aspect, what is unique about the Krispy Kreme culture, and how does culture for you as a CEO play a role in the way that the business performs?
Look, culture is critical, particularly when you think about, 1,000 staff from a support office right down to, casual workers. We've always seen the strength in when we are united and running in the same direction. So it really does help drive how we think, how we behave, and then how we deliver. And
I think for a lot of organization, culture can sort of tend to lean towards engagement or just happiness in isolation of actual business performance. So I think the fact that you're clearly linking the way people feel to the decisions they make to then the commercial outcomes.
As much as we use culture certainly to drive the performance, deliver the results, we make sure it also, puts smiles on our faces internally and with our customers, and it does connect through into the well-being and how we think about what employees get out of working at Krispy Kreme from an overall employee experience, to make sure that they also get something which is has that important connection for them.
Yeah, well, I imagine for you, a lot of your employees, or probably all of them, are equally customers.
That is, it certainly helps when you're working around a donut factory, but it's it's certainly, as always, they're your best advocates. Them talking to the networks, whether family, friends. It's been it's an army out there of great Krispy Kremers who believe in the brand, who love the product, and really go above and beyond for us. So that's something's worked in our DNA from day one, because you have people within the business who operate every day like owners, and they really care about what they deliver to the customer and the performance of the business. And for me, that's probably one of the biggest strengths I have as a leader, is just the commitment and the support and the dedication of 1,000+ people who just really want to see us succeed and this brand continue to grow and perform the way it does.
How have you personally been impacted by the remote working? I mean, not being in and amongst your people, living through a camera, motivating others through a camera. How's that impacted you personally?
Look, it's different. I'm certainly someone who gets a lot of energy off the people around me. It's, sometimes I'm sure that annoys every meeting that I want to pop in and contribute and be around. But look, for me, that is how I can stay connected to the multiple moving parts at Krispy Kreme and the diverse business we have. So we are trying to challenge ourselves. What do we keep from this experiment versus snap back to old ways. So we're certainly trying to identify, what are the new ways of working going forward that gives people a little more flexibility, but maintains productivity and in fact lifts efficiency in ways that we didn't see before this situation hit us all.
Certainly sounds like potentially you may even come out of this better than before.
Yeah, look, perhaps, I think the business has grown so much the last 5 years. We continue to look at new challenges and grow. I think this has given us an opportunity to think about simplification, getting back to the core. What are some of the processes that worked, as a certain stage of our journey to, what needs revisiting. So, we're not looking coming out of this with a need to take a 180 in our business model. I think we'll look at what does need to be accelerated. Where is there more risk than we realized before COVID-19 hit? But there is going to be an opportunity for us to think about, okay, well, where are we? Where can we think about our business through a different lens going forward?
There's a real, I guess, need to be as consumer-centric as possible in your industry, and equally creative. And when I think back to creativity and innovation to continue pleasing the consumer and the customer, what is it that you inject into your culture to ensure that there's a continual creative sort of level in the DNA?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think it's been fortunate that we've built this into the business over the last 7 years, so it's not sitting on one person's shoulders, or as people come and go. We do have a mindset to challenge the status quo. This constant nature of retail. How do you beat year ago? How do you think of that next great idea to bring to market? So it's creates a competitive drive within the team. So we've I think it's kind of just ingrained in I guess our culture of that idea to make it great. Like, how do we take it great? Here's this value that talks about elevating each and every time. So it certainly touches all parts of the business. As a brand, we're very fortunate that it is such a fun and playful brand, and we've been able to collaborate and work with different partners in a very positive sense. So we're fortunate to be able to take good concepts and ideas to other brands and see what we can do together. And we really believe in strength and partnership. It's teamwork is the glue that makes a business run internally. And I think you look at the challenges externally, I see such opportunity when brands or companies come together in partnership and think how they solve a problem together. And we've certainly taken that mindset to all sorts of ways of working, whether it be with a confectionery brand or whether it is with actually, a true partner like 7-Eleven that we work with. How do we do this together? How do we leverage, what we can each bring to the table and do a great offer for the customer? Ultimately, that's what's going to set us apart and, drive the performance of the business going forward.
It's certainly the year for pivoting and innovation. Now, look, I've got to ask, if you could travel back in time and visit yourself on day one of the job when you started as CEO of Krispy Kreme, what advice would you give yourself?
Look, I think one piece, and I still try to make sure I remember this, it's certainly to realize just because you're CEO, you don't have to do it all on your own. I think the more you can bring the team with you on the journey and really leverage the skills around you. It's a bit of a cliche, but it's certainly the biggest thing I need to always remind myself of, every day. Forget 8 years ago, even today, I need to continue to remind myself that, you don't have to shoulder all the burden and really work with your team to bring that to the forefront. I think that's something which, it certainly is one. I think number two was always just to remain humble. We've had some great success. I think anything that can remind you how quickly the world can change has been the last 8 weeks. So it's always to be approach things with humility and be humble. And, most importantly I guess where I get energy and I guess the nature of the workforce, just to remind myself that, the best memories I'll have will be the connection I have with people right across the business. And it's getting out in the business, spending time with the team, sort of Saturday night at the Liverpool store or the team in the factory making the product. We've got such quality human beings at Krispy Kreme. And I think the reminder is just, that they're the memories that you'll take with you is, how do you have those people connections all through the organization? So some of those I keep at the forefront of my mind, and I remember some days better than others.
That's very insightful. Thank you for being so transparent. So humility, but equally bringing the best out of the people around you. Yeah, that's a very nice insight. And
the people nature of this business, you know, you got 1,000 people, you know, grinding for the same goal, and just, you know, recognizing and respecting everybody's contribution to what is achieved. And I think, you know, the process from the donut being thought about to being manufactured to sold, distributed, you know, it takes an army to get it done. And I think everyone has a role to play, and it's always important to recognize that and make sure everybody realizes that, you know, A, we're running the same direction, but everybody's contribution is valued.
Brilliant. Andrew, I think we're out of time, but I want to say thank you again for joining us today and for sharing and being so transparent with us about your business. We wish you and the team at Krispy Kreme lots of luck for the next chapter. I'm sure there's plenty of exciting new Blueberry Plus recipes to come.
Always is. Absolute pleasure, Ben. Always great to chat.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Ben Biles. Goodbye for now.